Hello guys, it is the 4th of July today, but we still got a ton of baseball games for July 4th on this Monday, and just got games throughout the day. We got one very early, but ending off night, of course, with the Dodgers and Rockies. Now, first inning runs, there are still some games that we're not sure who's going to be pitching, so I don't have any plays for this, but I could for the first inning hits allowed when that comes out. Specifically looking at all the pitchers right now, it depends on Tampa Bay and Boston, because I think this game just being in Fenway, a lot more hitter friendly. We could have two poor pitchers. I think they actually said it was Austin Davis, I believe, opening, and then Cutter Crawford for the bulk. But we don't know about Tampa Bay yet, so if they're rolling out a pretty weak pitcher, I don't know about that though, because Tampa Bay they seem to have a bunch of elite arms. So gonna wait and see. But for the plays that we do have, actually, there's one that this is not an official play, but I do want to talk about. Dane Dunning's opened at 5, but he dropped a 3.5, and I kind of like the over, but I think we're going to have a better one in the live section when this game does start, 10 to 5 a.m. Pacific time. So when that happens, then I'm probably going to be taking his live. It's like 1.5 for the second, third, and fourth inning, which I think that's one of the better plays of that you're ever going to get for baseball, especially that live category, because you avoid the top part of the lineup for Baltimore, and then that bottom part strikes out a ton. So that's something I do like. But actually getting into the plays now, official plays. So this one's actually attacking Dane Dunning, and that's Cedric Mullins at 7.5, taking the over. Obviously, Dane Dunning, he could give it up and still hit his strikeouts, especially when it's a live play. You only are counting certain innings. But the reason for this was just Dane Dunning, his splits are pretty drastic when it comes to home and away. He's just a lot worse on the road. He's 0-5 with a 5.58 ERA. And then you look at what he throws. So against lefties particularly, it's sinker, changeup, and then slider, cutter too. But looking at focusing more so on the sinker, change, and slider, Mullins, his numbers, sinker right here, it's a -1, but his expected batting average is 253 there. Sinker, slider, right, sinker, yeah, change up next. For the change up, it's the same thing. Like, his run value is somehow really not that great right now, but then you look at his expected stats, like 310 when he hit 273 last year for a 7 run value. His expected slugging, all these numbers are just a lot better. And so that just shows that he's probably going to be headed for some positive regression. And then how that matches up with Dunning splits. Mullins, of course, a lefty. Dunning does struggle against lefties just pretty significantly, the difference in those. So that's another thing in Mullins' favor. And then Dane Dunning struggles to hold runners. He allows a lot of stolen bases. And Cedric Mullins, he is a leadoff man. He will run 16 stolen bases on the year, and he doesn't really get caught. So with Texas, again, it seems like Texas, their pitchers just don't really hold runners, because we're looking at Jonah Heim again, a very good framing catcher, but his pop time is not great, and they are going to allow stolen bases. So I think when you factor in the matchup hitting, the pitch types, and then you also get the stolen base upside on top of that, this makes Mullins a pretty good play in my opinion. So got the over here on 7.5. And then this is another pretty similar play because it has the same stolen base upside. That is going to be Starling Marte, 6.5 against Hunter Green. Hunter Green, he has a higher ERA than what his expected numbers are. So, yeah, that definitely is not something that's going to be in favor of the hitters. But he also pretty much only throws a fastball and a slider to righties. So that is just going to make it pretty easy to hit, or at least easier. Now, obviously, his fastball is elite. Slider just makes it that much better. And you look at his strikeout, his whiff, that's how he's able to get all these numbers. But again, you know, Starling Marte or Hunter Green, one thing. So he looks like someone that he's only been in the league for like a few months, but he has allowed some stolen bases. And Starling Marte, of course, one of the best stolen base guys, at least for his sprint speed, 82 right there, and he just runs a ton. So that's why I do like that. And Starling Marte, his splits this year, he's actually finally hitting better against lefties, but previously, like, he's been a pretty reverse splits guy. So that's just something that stood out in my opinion. And Hunter Green, he has also been a reverse splits pitcher. So just how it kind of matches up there. And then, of course, I would say probably a very important factor, this game is in Cincinnati, actually the best hitters ballpark. It's ahead of Coors this year. And because of that, you're just going to get a great matchup. If it gets to the bullpen, Cincinnati, they don't have a good one. And it's 91 degrees, which is going to help mitigate the mild winds blowing in. And the Mets, they're the road team. So they will be able to hit in the top of the ninth. And as a second, or hitting second, you just are in the middle of it all for New York. Very strong season that they're having. So I like the 6.5. I think it's probably low. And his strikeout rate, of course, because Hunter Green, he does strike a lot of guys out. Starling Marte does keep his strikeouts kind of low, so that's why I do like his ability at least to put the ball in play. And then this one is going to be my favorite play of the day, which is going to be Jose Abreu, 0.5 runs and RBIs. His fantasy is at 6.5, as well as Starling Marte. So if you want to take their fantasy points or the runs and RBIs, obviously Starling Marte, I'm interested in both. But Abreu, I'm interested in the runs and RBIs a little bit more, because he doesn't have that stolen base factor. And when you look at how fantasy points are scored on PrizePicks, I think it's probably better for him to, just for us to take this one instead of the fantasy points, because he can like sack fly or ground out, RBI ground out, or something that isn't a hit, and then just do nothing the rest of the game. And so he only gets 2 fantasy points, but he still hits this one. So I think if he were to go over 6.5, especially when he can't run, going 7 and not hitting this, it just feels kind of unlikely. So I prefer this one for runs and RBIs, of course. So that's why I do like it. But as far as why Abreu, so they're taking on Dylan Bundy. Dylan Bundy, his strikeout stuff is absolutely long gone. And Jose Abreu, he's one of the better hitters in the league. His numbers right now don't maybe really reflect that, but his expected numbers are insane, as you can see. And the money, so he just doesn't K anyone. He struggles on the road. He gives it up to lefties and righties. Home and away, just drastic splits there. And then Abreu for the pitch types. Scrolling down here, comparing it to Dylan Bundy. So fastball or slider, actually primary, fastball, sinker. Slider right there, 4, sinker, 0, and sinker, fastball. Fastball right there with a 1 run value, but expected batting average, expected stats, of course, like for the fastball, they're way higher than what they were last year. So you're going to see this number probably skyrocket. And I mean, he's just a really great hitter. So you see a lot of red here. I would say the slider, he had a really bad year here, but he's made a lot of improvements. Again, expected numbers are a lot higher than last year. So I really do like this spot. White Sox playing at home, Bundy having to face this team away. White Sox can be a very potent offense. He's in the middle of it all. And when you get him, great of a hitter as he is, as runs and RBIs, got to take the over. And then Carlos Correa, same thing, over on this one. Taking on Johnny Cueto. Abreu is my favorite play, but Correa is going to be another one of my favorites. Just taking on Cueto, who he's been in the league for a while. He's not an absolute gas can, but we shouldn't really be scared of this guy. He's pretty old now, and the Twins, they're a very good hitting team. Looking at righties when they are playing away. WSC Plus, they are 9th, 106. Of course, when they're home, they're even better, but they are away, but still, they're above average team hitting against righties. And Cueto, his numbers, it's a lot of blue there. And his expected ERA is worse. He throws a lot of pitches, but they're really he's kind of, his best days are kind of over them. And so I think Correa usually batting, I think it's third actually, because Buxton or I guess it's fourth projected because Polanco is back as well. So not sure about this though, because I do remember Polanco hit like 6, I think. So this could be a spot where we want to watch the lineup, but I think Correa is not batting anywhere lower than fourth though, because he's just too good of a hitter. So yeah, just another hitter right in the order, middle of the order for his team that I think is in a good hitting spot, should be able to have a good run total. And Alejandro Kirk, 0.5, taking on Cole Irvin, someone who is absolutely poor against right-handed hitters. Kirk, he's had better splits against on the road, but he's been batting cleanup. Teoscar bats behind him, and ahead of him, of course, George Springer, but with Shed, Vladdy, so he's going to be probably coming to play with runners on base every time. These guys, this top half of the order is absolutely stacked. For the Blue Jays, I'll say the one thing is just this game's going to be in Oakland, so it's a pitcher's ballpark, but Toronto, they're too good of offense. Kirk rested recently, so he should be good to go for tonight, and I would say he's probably my second favorite play behind Abreu. Correa going to be behind Kirk. So that's how I would rank these guys, and then Marte, put him fourth, but I think for him, it's pretty close with this one and the fantasy points. But those are my official plays as far as what I'm comfortable giving out right now, but I do have some personal ones. These might become official ones as well. Just it depends like what the lineup is, honestly, because like San Francisco, Wilmer Flores, Darren Ruff. I've talked about Jock Peterson, how it could be a good idea to take the under because they get pinch hit. Well, the same thing goes for the righties, Flores and Ruff, but we haven't seen how they handle the righties because we haven't had a game where they've had a pinch hit for them. So gonna have to keep an eye out on this one, but I would say probably Ruff is at more of a risk than Flores. But obviously just not really comfortable giving that out right now because we don't know what's going to happen. And then the other ones are going to be Brandon Nimmo, 1.5 hits and walks over for that one. Just someone who walks a ton, Hunter Green. Or actually, Nimmo hasn't been walking a ton recently, but his career numbers say that he will, or he should, and Hunter Green does walk a lot of guys, and he bats leadoff. So that's the reason for him. Tim Harrison, Luis Robert, it's a very good stolen base matchup against Dylan Bundy. You can obviously stack it with Jose Abreu. And then Will Smith and Kyle Tucker for their overs. Of course, just the matchup. But if you do want some more like analysis, you want to ask why in particular, because obviously I'm not really focusing too much about explaining these plays because I'm not making them official. But if you would, feel free to ask me, and I can definitely go more in depth with those to you guys. So that's going to be it for the video, guys. It's going to be Mullins, Starling Marte, Jose Abreu, Carlos Correa, and Alejandro Kirk for now, and then keep an eye on Dane Dunning for his live plays. So that's it for the video for today, guys. Happy 4th of July. Enjoy the weekend. And yeah, good luck on the slate. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.